Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? Who are you with? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news.
On November 17, 2018, Stephen Bannon, former White House chief strategist and ex-Breitbart executive, sent Jeffrey Epstein an article about the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, which linked the killing directly to Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Bannon captioned the message, "Light the candle." Epstein replied with a smiley face emoji and asked, "Scale of 1 to 10? Bannon responded, 9.5. The meaning of light the candle is unknown, but it appears to be coded language referring to initiating a next step, possibly in relation to a shared operation or agenda involving the fallout from the Khashoggi case. Rating it 9.5 out of 10 suggests they viewed it as a high priority or high risk scenario. Just 5 days later, on November 23, 2018, Bannon sent Epstein another message. Yes, just departed NBZ. NBZ refers to Mohammed bin Zayed, the President of the United Arab Emirates, and a man widely credited with mentoring bin Salman. Zayed is a longtime power broker in the Gulf region and was instrumental in lobbying U.S. support for Salman's rise to Crown Prince. This timeline confirms that Bannon was actively meeting with bin Zayed while discussing the fallout from Khashoggi's death, and that Epstein was in the loop. It shows that both men were involved in, or at least deeply aware of, an internal Gulf politics at the highest level, likely as intermediaries or strategic operatives. The phrase Saudi sausage reportedly came up in conversation between Bannon and Epstein, used in a context implying scandal and political damage. The phrase, while dark and dehumanizing, appears to refer to the graphic dismemberment of Jamal Khashoggi, a former royal insider who had fallen out of favor, was lured to the Saudi consulate in Istanbul under the pretense of collecting documents for his upcoming marriage. Once inside, he was killed by a Saudi hit squad. According to Turkish intelligence and UN investigations, he was tortured for hours, then dismembered with a bone saw, allegedly while still alive or moments from death. His remains were never recovered. Referring to this as making Saudi sausage is an unmistakable euphemism for the chopping up of a dissident journalist and reflects the callous detachment with which such acts are discussed behind closed doors by political operators. It's important to understand that Khashoggi was no ordinary journalist. He was born into a powerful Saudi family with deep ties to global intelligence, arms dealings, and Western political elites. His uncle, Adnan Khashoggi, was a famous Saudi arms dealer who brokered weapons sales on behalf of the Saudi government and was heavily involved in the Iran-Contra affair. Adnan had close business ties with Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, and Robert Maxwell. He also sold Donald Trump the Trump Princess yacht and sold Robert Maxwell the yacht Lady Ghislaine. The same vessel later linked to Epstein's social circle. Final cut comes when you remember that Jamal's cousin was Dodi Fayed, the man who was with Princess Diana when she died. Diana rejected the world the machine wanted her to accept. She rejected Epstein's circle, she rejected Trump, she rejected the royal games, and she died in a crash that erased every potential threat she posed to the same global architecture. Power operates on lineage, leverage, and liability. Diana, Epstein, Khashoggi, the same system, different chapters. The Khashoggi murder was not an isolated act. It was part of a broader attempt by bin Salman to create a digital surveillance state, one capable of detecting dissent in real time and eliminating it before it could grow into resistance. This project extended far beyond traditional authoritarian methods, which included infiltration of Twitter by Saudi spies. In 2015, U.S. prosecutors later confirmed that Saudi operatives working inside Twitter were accessing the private information of dissidents and passing it to the Saudi regime. It also included interest in acquiring or influencing major tech platforms to surveil critics abroad. Mohammed bin Salman and his investment fund, PIF, later funded Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter, or X, giving them significant influence over a platform used globally by journalists, researchers, and whistleblowers. Once Musk took over, he made a crucial operational error. He moved Twitter servers early, potentially revealing knowledge of sensitive intelligence sharing arrangements or data access pipelines. This move reportedly infuriated bin Salman, who had likely counted on retaining privileged, backed access to the platform. At the same time, Musk's main financial anchor, Tesla, is heavily leveraged and tied to Saudi capital. This means the Crown Prince has financial influence over Musk, who may have walked into a political trap far deeper than he understood. To add another layer, Trump allies Jared Kushner, Michael Flynn, and others had reportedly formed a venture called IP3 International, which sought to build nuclear reactors in Saudi Arabia and Russia. There was one problem. They didn't have the designs. Congress blocked the deal over proliferation concerns. After leaving office, it was revealed that Trump had taken classified nuclear documents with him, some of which reportedly related to foreign nations and could tie into the IP3 ambitions. Whether for leverage, blackmail, or to fulfill prior promises, this paints a chilling picture of private nuclear diplomacy for profit. Had the nuclear reactor deals gone through, the Saudi regime would have had energy, data, surveillance, and AI tools necessary to implement total digital control, no longer relying on crude dismemberments, but algorithmic censorship and automated repression. Another layer to the digital clampdown was Eric Prince, founder of the mercenary firm Blackwater. Prince reportedly worked on a so-called Freedom Phone marketed as secure and privacy-friendly, but in reality, designed to feed intelligence back to the surveillance regime. Prince was allegedly tapped to help provide physical security and operational cover for this entire ecosystem, from Gulf regimes to tech platforms. But his efforts failed to deliver. The 2017 Route 91 mass shooting in Las Vegas was likely a cover for bin Salman trying to assassinate his nephew that was pushing for his throne. It occurred days after bin Salman arrived in Las Vegas for an undisclosed visit. The patsy in the Las Vegas shooting had been buying and flying guns to the Saudi royals for years. This was his primary income. Reports of helicopters, unexplained gunfire, and multiple witness anomalies remain unresolved. The timing is notable, and given the levels of private contractor activity, Saudi business presence, and strategic alliances in Vegas at that time, it deserves further investigation. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are documented connections between real people, real deals, real murders, and real cover-ups. The network we're looking at, from Khashoggi to Bannon to Epstein to Trump to Musk to Eric Prince, is not a string of coincidences. It's an operational framework. Recently released Jeffrey Epstein documents named Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Steve Bannon, confirming that Epstein's network reached deep into Silicon Valley, finance, and nationalist political circles. And it's not just name drops. We know Bannon was physically with Epstein in 2018, long after Epstein's first arrest, during a period when he was supposedly socially radioactive. Bannon wasn't avoiding him. He was actively helping Epstein craft a re-entry strategy to rehabilitate his public image. And let's not forget, Steve Bannon's lawyer, David Schoen, is the chairman of the Zionist Organization of America. Schoen represents a bridge between elite legal protection and ideological influence infrastructure. He was also the same lawyer who was defending Trump during impeachment. It exposes how legal, political, and ideological fronts are fused in service of the same global architecture. Let's just say that the network of who benefited from Khashoggi never speaking publicly again is undeniable. He wasn't killed for criticizing a prince. He was killed because he sat at the crossroads of too many dangerous secrets. Secrets that would implicate entire governments, administrations, and intelligence networks. His death didn't just serve Saudi interest. It shielded a global power structure that could not afford for him to speak.